I would like to share the experience of Kenya since they joined UPOF 1991. But my title for today, I have titled it The Contribution of Plant Variety Protection in Kenya's Economy. Now, I will start with the introduction. Kenya economy and the livelihoods, like most of African states, are heavily dependent upon agriculture, contributing approximately 3% to Kenyans' gross domestic product. Agriculture contributes more than 40% to the total population, employs more than 40% of the total population, and 70% of that is based in rural population. Seed of the right variety, hence, is very critical when it comes to enhancing food security and increase generation through increased food productivity. The need for food security and income generation has been the development of superior varieties with relevant attributes. Now, when it comes to plant variety protection, we have a number of the legal framework that govern plant variety protection in Kenya. The first legal framework that governs plant variety protection in Kenya is the Kenyan Constitution. And the Kenya Constitution recognizes the importance of intellectual property rights. Under Article 11.2, it is said that the state shall promote the intellectual property rights of people of Kenya. And the Constitution goes forth again and emphasizes in Article 45 that the state shall support, promote, and protect the intellectual property rights of people of Kenya. So from the Constitution, it has clearly spelled out the importance of the intellectual property rights, which plant variety protection is one of the intellectual property rights that the Kenya has embraced, and it's used to protect all plant varieties. Now, the next legal framework that governs the intellectual property rights is the seed policy. Right now, we are operating under the seed policy for the year 2010. The seed policy is also under review because in our Constitution, after every 10 years, the seed policy has to be changed. Now, the seed policy identifies the need to promote plant variety protection in Kenya. And specifically, the policy identifies the need to harmonize Kenya's laws with international systems that promote variety development. And also to facilitate the international movement of seeds. In response to this, the Seed and Plant Variety Act was reviewed in 2012 to incorporate the aspect of UPOF Convention of 1991. Now, when it comes to the legal framework, the act that governs the plant variety protection in Kenya, it's called the Seeds and Plant Variety Act 2012, and also the implementing regulation, which is called Plant Variety Protections Regulations. This act provides the framework on where we were able to operate the plant variety protection. And the UPOF 1991 Convention, the act was reviewed, so it conforms to the UPOF 1991 provisions. So each time we implement our acts, we are also implementing the UPOF Convention because the UPOF Convention was domesticated in our act. Now, Kenya as a country provides for plant variety protection for all plant genera and species. I would like also to highlight now the status of plant variety protection in Kenya. Now, since inception up to December 2022, Kenya has received 1,959 applications. The local applications represent 29%. The foreign applications represent 71%. Under the local applications, we have public institutions represent a larger volume of 77%. Then the public institution, 77%. Then the private institution, 23%. Now, out of all the applications that we have received, 36% is for food crops and cash crops is 64%. So most of the plant variety protection, that the varieties that we have protected, they are mainly the cash crops. Between the year 2020 to 2022, we were able to grant 199 grants. Now, I have illustrated the trends of how we have performed over time from the year 2012. Now, when you look at the year 2016 is when we joined UPOF 1991. We had an increase in the application. Over time, the trend has been varying, but generally we have, it has increased the number of applications since we acceded to 1991 UPOF. Now, another aspect that Kenya has played a major role when it comes to the issue of UPOF is the international cooperation in DOS testing and exchange of DOS test reports. Kenya as a country has signed cooperation agreement on sharing of DOS test reports with a number of UPOF authorities, namely the European Union, the Netherlands, the Israel, the Switzerland, the South Africa, the Japan, Korea, and Germany. Also, Kenya is able to share the reports, the DOS reports with the in the regional level, under COMESA, and also among the individual countries. Now, when it comes to enforcement of plant variety protection, under the Kenyan's law, the enforcement of rights is by the owner of the rights, and the owner of the rights can be able to seek redress in the courts of law. But also the Act provides for the seed and plant tribunal to determine any dispute arising from plant variety protection. KEPHIS, being the designated authority for phytosanitary and seed certification matters, has an added advantage of detecting any cases of infringement and has helped in arbitration of some cases. Now, I would also like to highlight some impacts that Kenya has experienced when it comes to having a streamlined system of plant variety protection. I'm sure some of us, we have heard about the floriculture industry of Kenya, the flower industry. We have been able to identify that one of the major contributing factor that has helped the flower industry or the floriculture industry to flourish in Kenya is having a streamlined plant variety protection. In the year 2018, the Kenya floriculture market was valued at USD 861.2 million. And in the year 2020, it was valued at 1.1 billion. So it means that the plant variety protection system has really played a very important role when it comes to Kenya's economy. Also, it has been able to create employment, the floriculture industry. Of course, floriculture industry is just among the other industries that the system has impacted. But I just wanted to highlight the floriculture industry, which has provided employment to over 500 people. And also indirectly, it has impacted to 2 million livelihoods among populations in Kenya. I have given a trend on the production trends in cut flower exports since 1995 to 2019. And from this trend, you can be able to see that the floriculture industry has been increasing over years. And Kenya as a country is making all the efforts to ensure that the trends continue so that we can be able to improve our economy. Also, another impact that I would like to highlight on is the increased introduction of crop varieties, which has played a major role in the food security for people of Kenya. Increased introduction of crop varieties due to enhanced variety description and protection, which has been attributed to readily available UPOF test guidelines for most of the agriculture crops, the trained personnel by UPOF on development of national test guidelines, and cooperation in DUS testing and exchange of DUS reports. This has facilitated accelerated access to superior variety. And with the superior variety, it has directly impacted on increased productivity to ensure that the people of Kenya are able to produce enough to ensure that we have food security, so that they can be able also to sell the surplus to improve their livelihood. Now, when it comes to DUS testing, I have given a trend on how many varieties have been tested by Kenya since 2012. You can be able to see, I have highlighted for each year up to 2022. We have been having ups in the numbers, but we have continuing improving, increasing the number of varieties tested for the purposes of protection and for the purposes of releasing for commercialization. Now, in the year 2021-2022, KEPHIS requested and received 46 reports from UPOF member country, which accelerated the protection of plant varieties. Now, another impact that you have been experienced as a country is the development of climate smart varieties, because as a country we are experiencing change in climatic conditions, and it has become very important for us to be able to come up with the varieties that can be able to cope with the issues of climate change, especially when it comes to erratic rains. So I have highlighted some of the varieties that have been released. So I think now that I'll be able to provide the presentation, you can be able to go through and look at them, but I've just highlighted some of the varieties that you have been able to release so that you can be able to provide the farmers with the new drought-tolerant varieties. Also, we have managed to come up with the disease-tolerant varieties to ensure food security. I have highlighted now a number of varieties that has been released in Kenya for the purposes of varieties that can be able to tolerate maize lethal necrotic disease. Because as a country, maize is our staple food, so it is always very important for us to ensure that we provide the varieties that can be able to cope with the challenges, especially when it comes to the issues of diseases. Also, we have seen in the seed sector that there is an increase in number of players, especially the seed companies that handle seed, because due to an increase in the varieties that have been released for commercialization, and that we have also shortened the time that is required for the variety to be released and commercialized in Kenya. most seed companies that have managed to operate in Kenya, the local seed companies and also the international seed company. So I have highlighted the trends, how the number of the seed companies that they can be able to, they have been operating in Kenya since 2016 to 2021. Now, when it comes to the trade in seed, plant variety protection has also played a very important role. And a number of the countries that you have been able to trade in seed, I can be able to highlight a few. We have been able to trade with South Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Because most of these countries, they have functional plant variety system. So it is always very, very easy to exchange the DS report. And also it is very easy for us to able to raise the variety and to trade in seed. Apart from the food security, employment, also another aspect that is very, very important is the breeding aspect, which we have been able to realize that apart from the official breeding done by the universities and public institutions, we have also been able to receive the variety, the request for variety to be protected by the farmers, and we have been able to protect. And the recent one that we have received a number of flower varieties and also the apple variety, which the farmer have been able to improve on it, and they have requested for protection. What is the Kenyan's role when it comes to regional and international plant variety arena? Kenya has played a major role when it comes to participation in UPOF meetings, which including the development of test guidelines. Kenya has been able in recent spearheaded the review of test guideline for tea, because tea is very important in the Kenyan's economy, of course, among other test guidelines. Also the development of the regional plant variety protection law under a RIPO, which is called Arusha Protocol. East Africa Community, that is the Seed and Plant Variety Bill. And also it has played a major role when it comes to capacity building. It has been able to train, it has been able to participate in the SADC, East Africa, and even COMESA, so that as African country, we can be able to have a streamlined plant variety protection system. And also the exchange of DS reports among UPOF members, COMESA, and even the individual countries. Now, what are some of the challenges that Kenya has faced as it implements plant variety protection system? One of the challenges that you have faced is lack of sufficient infrastructure when it comes to testing of ornamental, as much as the ornamental forms a bulk of plant variety protection. Then also the maintenance of reference collection, shortage of staffs, and changing of laws that takes a longer time. What are the opportunities that Kenya faces that can be able to tap in? There's increased cooperation in US testing in African continent with increased adoption of plant variety protection among the states. Capacity building for countries developing plant variety protection system. Fast-growing seed industry, which you need for increased variety development. Ever-growing population. This one provides an opportunity for increased demand for food and agriculture products, hence the need for superior varieties. Diverse agroecological, hence need for diverse varieties. Diversity of crops. We have a number of species that each time we have new species, it gives us an opportunity to develop national and the regional test guideline. In conclusion, I would like to say that plant variety protection in Kenya has enhanced food security, employment creation, and improved farmers' livelihood by encouraging development of high-yielding climate-smart varieties for diverse crops, access to elite international breed crop varieties, and breeding activities among farmers. So in a nutshell, what I can be able to conclude and say that plant variety protection has really played a major role when it comes to Kenyan economy. And Kenya as a country is putting all the framework that is required to ensure that we continue improving and streamlining plant variety protection in every aspect that will ensure that the farmers and every Kenyan is able to access improved variety for the purposes of food security and for the purposes of increased income. Thank you.